Here's how to piss off Canadians from a Canadian. Number 1, tell them everything you know about Canada is from Letterkenny. Number 2, tell them you didn't really like Letterkenny. Number 3, find someone who's not from Alberta and ask them if they're from Alberta, and when they say no, why, just say you give off Alberta vibes. Number 4, find someone who lives in Vancouver, the more downtown the better, and tell them that you visited Vancouver once and then describe Burnaby. Number 5, get 2 people in a room together, one West Coaster, one Flatlander, and then ask them which is worse, wet cold or dry cold. Number 6, tell them that the majority of the Canadian population lives in Toronto. Number 7, pronounce it Toronto. Number 8, tell them you wear a Canadian pin on your backpack when you're traveling in Europe because people treat you better. Number 9, when traveling anywhere outside of Quebec, wait until someone orders a poutine and then say actually it's pronounced poutine. Alternatively, if you're feeling a little spicy, tell a Quebecer it's actually pronounced poutine. And the number 10 way to piss off a Canadian, mispronounce this word. It's toque, you godless heathens.
Hey, how's it going there, bud? This time of year, I just, as the air starts getting colder, remember how proud I am to be a Canadian there, bud. Oh, sorry, Ego and Vice, episode 109.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Born and raised in South Bay, lower class punk ass, I was Northwood grade. I had it made. Spent my nights drinking with my mates. Just a short bus ride up to PA. Red River Red. Then I hit the wall and I knew I had to bounce. They still say that 19 years ago, well, I got the hell out. From time to time you may see me hanging around. Now I feel like a stranger in this town. Crocs and rolls is where I learned to play. Westwood Tavern's where I learned to walk.
Hey, how's it going? This is Mike. This is Ego and Vice. This is episode 109. So, what do you guys think? What is your favorite season? Is it summer? Is it winter? Everybody likes fall. Fall is, it's pretty. It's nice. It's hoodie weather, which is awesome. But, I don't know. I get really excited about winter. Summer's fun because it's easy, right? Shorts and a t-shirt is easy. Not having to brush the car off is easy. Dry roads is easy. But there's just something about winter that kind of excites me, that makes me happier. I'm just happier in the winter when it's maybe gloomier and cold. I don't know. I was raised in Thunder Bay. I was born and raised in Thunder Bay, which is northwestern Ontario, where there is a long, long, grueling winter. So maybe I was conditioned by a young age to just accept winter as, that's it. That's all there is. Short summer, grueling winter. And when I came to Ottawa, it was kind of grueling summer, grueling winter. But winters here are fine. And the main thing about winter is that I get to snowboard. And my last trip to Edelweiss last year, I went by myself and I took a solo last run. And I was on the far side and I just sat on the hill and I put my headphones in and I listened to some tunes and I just looked out at the scenery. It was a beautiful sunny day. And I could have stayed for another 2 hours if I wanted to, but I just said, nope, this is perfect. This has been the perfect morning. This has been the perfect last day on the hill. And I sat there for a bit and I had a moment and then I snowboarded down and I thought about that moment. I'm still thinking about that moment. Right through the summer. And I've been bugging Alex, my girlfriend, about she snowboards with me, and I said it's almost time. We already have a trip in Tremblant booked for mid-December, and that'll be our first trip back out. So it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Anyway, that's me. I get excited about wintertime. I get in a better mood, and I just figured I'd share it. So what do you guys think? Why don't you let me know? What's better, summer or winter? egoandvice@gmail.com. Let's have a conversation. Or not. Anyway, I have a band on the podcast. A band called Positive Charge came into Southwood Studio and sat down with me. We had a conversation. Positive Charge has been in Ottawa for quite a while, a lot of years, and I tell a story how Positive Charge's music was on the podcast way back in 2017 when I started in season 1. When I used to call local bands and ask them if I could play their songs, because I didn't know how to do a podcast. I thought I'd get sued. Probably still might. That's the goal one day. Anyway, all these years later, they're actually on the show. And Rich, Jordan, Summer, and Gary sat down in the lush digs that are Southwood Studio, and we had a great conversation about everything Positive Charge and a whole bunch of other stuff that isn't Positive Charge. It was fun. A lot of fun. Anyway, I'm going to play a song by Positive Charge, and then we're going to come back, and I'll have the conversation with the band. So stick around, enjoy the tune, and I will be right back with Positive Charge. This is Ego and Vice.
3 weeks now we pledge our souls to unite a lurid manifold. Absolve us of our turmoil, more at stake than petty problems or so-called faith. Standing strong through each verse like pillars held together for the whole. From vein to vein and heart to heart, we share a rhythm in 4/4 time. In 4/4 time. Can't hold it in, just waiting to begin. Together as parts to the sun. On any stage you'll find us pouring sweat, thicker than the blood you shed. Thicker than the blood you shed. We are here yet dreaming. Get us out of this city, fulfill that wanderlust. We will shed our sweat on any crowd we can, along with the memories so blurry and so clear. Can't hold it in, just waiting to begin. Together as sparks to the sun. And on any stage you'll find us pouring sweat, thicker than the blood you shed. Thicker than the blood you shed. To Colin who put up with us, no place on the floor of a friend. From the times we got too wasted, slurred the rhythm and tasted the feed. From the blood that cascades down Tony's knuckles, right down to the snare. On the kid we brought ourselves, our lead from the band, cutting up the spare. From the blood that cascades down Tony's knuckles, right down to the snare. On the kid we brought ourselves, our lead from the band, cutting up despair. Cutting up despair. Can't hold it in, just waiting to begin. Together
Hey, this is Ego and Vice. This is episode 109. As promised in Southwood Studio, I don't always have people in the studio, but when I do, it's a big deal. I have Rich, Jordan, Summer, and Gary. This is Positive Charge.
Hey.
Oh, Ego and Vice. Hello, Mike. Thanks for having us.
I know, it's crazy. So, Positive Charge, man, we go way back. You know that in the very first Ego and Vice season, 2017, when I didn't know how to do a podcast, I still kind of don't know how to do a podcast, but the first thing I did was like, I think I'll start a podcast, but I have to reach out to all the local bands and ask permission to play their songs because I thought people were going to get super pissed off at me. And I actually sent you guys like a messenger or Facebook or something, and you're like, yeah, absolutely, play the song. So this city has actually been on from your 2017 release, Undergrowth, has been on the podcast before you were.
That's good. That's good news. I like it.
Yeah. So 2017, Positive Charge has been around for. Is that when the band started?
No, we started in 2015. That's when Jordan officially joined, right?
Yeah, that's correct. It was February 2015 when I joined the band, and that rounded off our original lineup. Our first show was August 8th, 2015 at the Avant-Garde Bar under Pistols at Dawn, which was short-lived.
Should we introduce ourselves, what we play and?
Yeah, like I said.
Now you bring it up.
Well, okay. Well, here we can transition into that, right? So I started playing bass, and originally we were a 5-piece band where we had a vocalist, a good friend of ours, Jake Dunlop, who we had to part ways with very early on in this iteration of the band. We had Anthony Cardozo on drums and Cam Haynes on guitar. That was when Jake left, we had a big swapping of promotions for vocal duties where Richard started doing the lead vocals, Tony took Richard's parts, and I had to learn how to sing to fill in those third parts. And then
it's kind of like, when you have a slot of balls and you pull the bottom one out, they all drop. The rolls just fucking fell to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yeah. So then we came out with Undergrowth in 2017. It was 2018 when we played our last show with Tony.
That's correct.
So that started our
Also officially at Avant-Garde Bar, but the very last one was at Gary's garage party.
That's right.
Not this Gary.
That's right. Yeah. Gary
that's
being
Gary.
Alex Gravel's dad. Alex Gravel being the drummer for the Tenenbaums.
Who also played with us before Eric did for one show.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So Alex Gravel played with us when we opened for Masked Intruder
27 Club.
at the 27 Club in March 2019. And then after that, we had Eric.
No, it was 2018.
Was that 2018?
No, it was 2019.
Yeah, because
That's right.
It was
yeah.
October 2018 was our last show with Tony.
That's
and then
correct.
March 2019 was our one show with Alex, and then we were with. I never know how to say Eric's last name. I don't even want to.
Insane.
Eric Sensei.
Yeah.
Was our drummer for a couple of years there.
Funny thing, before we got Eric, Gary asked if he wanted to join, and we're like, yeah, let's give it a shot, but we just never ended up doing it. And then Eric quit earlier this year.
Yep.
And I was doing a rip of shows with Gary as Rich Chris and Audio Visceral.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the passenger seat, and I was like, yo, Gary, you remember you asked to play in the band. Is that offer still stand? And what did you say?
So this is where we should probably get into Summer because when Cam left, Rich told me they got Summer to play guitar, and I was like, you did what? And so once Rich asked me if I wanted to be play with them, I was like, I would love to play with Summer. So, and I've already loved Positive Charge, so I was like, let me think about that for a second. Yes, and that was that.
Okay, since we should go back to the introductions, it seems like Rich, Gary, and Jordan have already kind of done their introductions. Summer, what a great idea.
Oh, this is so embarrassing. Okay. Yeah. Hi. Hey. So yeah, most overrated guitarist in Ottawa.
Bullshit.
I used to play in a band called Critical under a different nom de guerre. And then I joined Holy Christopher, and I'm still in Holy Christopher. It's been over 7 years, I think. And then they keep asking how did you get Summer to join your band, and all they did was ask. So here I am.
It's amazing it's amazing just what an ask would do too. Do you guys know Sarah Gott? Sarah Destruction?
Yes. Yeah, she's been in lots of bands. Raw Raw Riot.
When she was in Raw Raw Riot and my band Goat and it was looking for another guitar player, I went and saw a couple of Raw Raw Riot shows, and I was just like, oh, she would be awesome in the band. And I was too scared to ask her. And then like 2 years later, I asked her, and she said, sure.
Yeah, she played with you, right? Didn't she play at this show? This
No,
Riptides
I was.
one?
No, that was.
Oh, no, that's not Goat. Never
No,
mind.
that's not Goat.
A different
Yeah,
band.
yeah. Sarah was in Goat for a few years, on and off. Yeah, but again, all I did was ask her, and she was like, sure. I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's easy, right? Sometimes communication, imagine, right?
It really helps. It goes a lot.
You just sit there and wish. So, all right, so yeah, that's cool, man. Now that you have Gary, and you have Summer, and you guys are original members,
Correct.
how has the summer of 2023 been for you? What have you guys been up to?
Well, I like that little pun you put there. Summer of
Trouble.
2023. It's been good. It's been very awesome. Like these two picked it up quick. They're good. And they rip. We're really tight right now. We did our first show in almost 2 years since
Almost 2.
November 2021.
Yeah.
And yeah, like we just I guess Cam quit in March and Gary, so Eric was in like April or May.
Yeah, not too long after.
And then we had our first band practice with everybody in July, and yeah, it went smooth.
Are you still buds with the previous members?
Yes, absolutely.
Everything
yeah.
was cool?
100% on amicable terms. We got to a point where kind of like life got in the way in a way, and it seemed like this band became more of a burdensome chore than it was a fun thing to do creatively. When you're busy folks, like they're both dads with like really demanding jobs, and
and 2 kids, 1 guy, and 3 kids the other.
And as a father myself, I totally understand and relate to how hard it can be to balance, especially when you're a musician and you're in other bands. And our very good friend Cam Haynes has been able to pursue his career of professional audio in a really like intense and profound way this year, and in a way that he wouldn't have been able to done if he was still committed to this project. So we let our little birds fly. We're still very much friends with them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we love them.
Nothing but love and respect.
Always will love those dudes.
When you introduced new members, you said it went really, really easy.
Yeah.
I've found in the past it's always kind of an uphill battle, but I guess you got 2 awesome players who just caught on very quickly.
I mean,
Gary's like a working man's drummer though, right? Because he's in other projects, and Summer's in other projects too. So
Richard's in like 100 bands.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Right, and I find that's kind of a theme in any like indie scene. There's always like someone in multiple bands, or the drummer is the drummer from somewhere else, and this and that. And I think as long as the chemistry's good, and you guys like get along, no one's like a dick, I think that's the biggest battle.
No, I'm a huge prima donna bitch.
You must be a good guitar player then.
she's a great actor. She puts on the show when she's doing important things like podcasts and seeing the public. But once we close that jam room door, thank goodness we got earplugs.
Totally. I think it is too, though. If you're like the best guitar player or the best drummer in the world, and you're a total fucking dick, it's like it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? I don't care how good you are.
Neither do I.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess the uphill battle, that was good, and you guys locked on just like nothing. Are you guys going to be doing any recording? I know that Undergrowth was
this has
while
been
ago.
a story. So Undergrowth came out in 2017. We laid the initial bed of tracks, the bass and the drums for our upcoming release in early 2018. So it's
I think the guitars too.
And some of them were a bit later, but like the bass and the drums were done in 2018. We had some of the guitars were like more 2019, because I remember, in 2020 when things slowed down for some reason, it had already been a long time that we had been working on this project, right? Because again, we had members that had kids. I decided, I'm going to move to the woods and go to school and like reorient my career and my life. So it was slow going into that, and then it was slow because of the reality of the world. So this has been a long time coming in a long ways. But yeah, so we have a 9-track album that is on its tail end of production, which should be coming out early 2024.
Where did you record the first one, if you don't mind?
So in a few places, the thing, part of the reason why our projects tend to take more time is that, and I don't know if this is out of resourcefulness or stubbornness, but we've decided to do a lot of things ourselves, very DIY.
As much as we can.
As much as we can. So we recorded the drum tracks both times at Pebble Studios.
Yeah, because so a little side note asterisk. This band was like a reiteration of another band. We were called New Elders before. So it was Tony was the drums, Jake was the vocals, I was on bass, and we had a guy Nico on guitar. And then when he was like, I'm done with this band, the three of us weren't. So we're like, okay, let's start this up. So I switched to guitar, and that's how this band started. And lost my train of thought there.
The New Elders, you won a contest? You won studio
That's
time?
right. Yeah, we did a battle of the bands. We won a contest. We won like I think 30 hours of studio time for free at Pebble Studios. So we used I think 18 of those hours for the first album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we realized that it came with the engineer, so you got to pay for the engineer. But we used Corey Bergeron, which is pretty good. Mm-hmm. And then the second time, these songs we had 12 hours left over, so we just used the room, and Cam was our engineer. Our guitar player was the engineer, so we just set it up. Corey just opened the door for us, did some stuff, and was like, all right, have fun.
Yeah. So both Cam and I took the Music Industry Arts program at Algonquin. And here I'm going to sing Cam's praises. He's one of the most like talented audio engineers I know. He's just got the ear for tone. He's got the demeanor of the relaxed attitude that so many people in the sound field don't have. Cam was kind of the mastermind behind that. The guitars were also done like by ourselves.
Oh yeah, always.
In I think Nico's dad's basement.
Or yeah, we did vocals there. We did
some of the vocals there. We did some of the vocals from Undergrowth in my old apartment building on Bronson. We just like had an empty bedroom in an apartment, so we just turned it into a micro booth for a week or two to record the rest of the vocals. So various locations done ourselves via whatever software and hard drives we have. As with the second one, we did the same thing. So we did, like Rich was saying, we also booked Pebble for the drums for that. But then we rented a studio. Alex
Jacobchuk.
That's right, yeah. We rented his basement studio for the guitars and the bass recording for the upcoming record, and we did all the vocals at my house in just outside of Renfrew.
We did the guitars there too, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's four sessions at Alex's house.
Yeah. So part of the reason why it's been a slow process is we're just doing it ourselves and taking it as it comes.
Okay.
And life got in the way.
Sure, always does. So Undergrowth came out in 2017. You guys must have kept writing. How does the writing process go? Do you guys like write all the time, or are you still touring that record? Like,
it's very interesting. We have not kept writing. Well, Jordan's written a few songs, but like we had 20 when we first started this band. We had about a surge of songs. It was about almost 20 by the time we got Undergrowth going. So we picked 12, and the other 8 were just not gonna got for this album, and then we learned to cover.
So for Gary and Summer, it wasn't like they had to learn like a back catalog of 7 records, right?
No. We have the set that we performed, and we'll be performing again. So anyone who saw our last show at the Dom will be able to see it again at the next show at the Dom, which we can talk about later if we want, because that's a little off topic. But yeah, we have maybe 10 to 12 more songs to wrap off the Undergrowth and this upcoming record. And we've been sitting on those songs for a long time because we've been trying to prioritize getting the record released over writing. But yeah, during that time, I've found some inspiration, and I have maybe about 8 to 9 songs on the back burner that we can bust out as soon as we're ready.
Hell yeah.
And I know Richard is a songwriting machine when he gets the spark.
Let's play a Positive Charge song. What do you guys want to hear?
We're going to do Urgent Message.
Urgent Message. All right. What's this tune about?
The song, Jordan?
Okay, so this is actually a great one that Richard wrote. This is about inclusivity and attitude mindsets within the local scenes and the spaces that we provide. Like, we want to be a band where everyone can come and be comfortable listening to and enjoying our music. And there's too many scenes out there that either tolerate or cater to hateful rhetoric, and we're not about that.
Awesome.
When you write the song, but your buddy summarizes it 1,000 times better than you could.
There you go. All right. This is Urgent Message. This is Positive Charge. Ego and Vice.
generation has reached its boiling point long ago, and we don't have any more time or patience to wait for things to change. The time is now that we educate ourselves and listen to stories. People are scared to leave their house, vulnerability lies within. Some don't even feel safe in their own skin. Everyone needs a place of sanctuary. Let's make this place safe for everyone. This is an urgent message, a critical attempt to shed more light on things that are out of sight, to be more inclusive with life's diversity. We come here to find acceptance and to have a good time. We don't want no hate for racist, sexist attitudes. That isn't what this scene is about. Don't assume you'll make an ass out of you. Be open to new process and learning from mistakes. Cloak ignorance, never silence the oppressed. Listen to their stories and challenge our beliefs. The norm we know has been painted for us. Words only matter, be careful which you choose. They can do more damage than you know. This is an urgent message, a critical attempt to shed more light on things that are out of sight, to be more inclusive with life's diversity. We come here to find acceptance and to have a good time. We don't want no hate for racist, sexist attitudes. That isn't what this scene is about.
Do you I know bands hate to categorize themselves, but I won't say what's the band, but would you consider music punk music? You comfortable with that?
I'd say so.
Yeah,
What do you
absolutely.
think, Gary?
Yeah, absolutely. It's nothing you can kind of pigeonhole into one aspect of punk music, but it's all based in punk. Yeah.
Good answer. What do you think, Summer?
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Letter C. I think having Gary too is he's a punk drummer. I've always known him as a punk drummer. Me and Gary have known each other since the 90s. Crazy, and it's hard to find a punk drummer. I was just up in the studio recording the new Goat stuff, and I had a rock drummer who fucking nailed it, knocked it out of the park. But it still didn't sound that punk. You know what I mean? There's just something. Gary, what's punk drumming?
Punk drumming is just like polka music. It's just a fast beat. It's a fast rock beat. That's all it is. If you can play rock drums, you can play punk drums. You just got to play it faster.
With attitude. Yeah.
But I mean, I've heard the new Goat, one of the new Goat songs, and I thought it sounded great. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, the guy that did the drums for me, his name's Jay Watts. He plays in a band now called the Escape Society. It's kind of a pop rock band now, but he's played tons of stuff. He was in like Hearts and Minds. He played for you know that band Twin Flames? Yeah. He was like the studio or the session guy for Twin Flames for a while. He's not a punk drummer. I always call him the drummer because he even says that. He's like, I'm not a punk drummer. I said, yeah, but you're the drummer. Back to you guys though. Positive charge. Speaking of touring though, do you guys play mainly Ottawa, or are you like back when Undergrowth came out? Did you tour the record at all? Or
We did tour the record. Yeah, we always have a base in Ottawa. Ottawa's been very good to us. We've been able to open for some kind of like bigger name touring acts coming through here. When Undergrowth came out, we did do a bit of a tour. We went down to Hamilton, GTA area, and we went up to Montreal as well. We wanted to work the Tenenbaums, very good friends of ours. Historically, we've managed to keep ourselves within driving distance. As far north as Quebec City, as far south as Hamilton. Play Cornwall in between, kind of up and down the 401. We'll be there. It's very much our intention to be able to do a little more of that, especially now that things are kind of allowing us to do that again.
I think that touring your music is super, super important. I'm an Ottawa guy. Like I'm pro Ottawa. I promote Ottawa and stuff like that. But I think you kind of run out of room in Ottawa sometimes. You know what I mean? Like how many times can you play at the same four pubs. Or
Absolutely,
whatever, right?
absolutely. There was a time I used to play in a band called Bull Domino with some of my MIA friends, and they're great guys. And there were some good funky tunes there, kind of more of like a indie dance rock kind of vibe. And we didn't get out of Ottawa much, but we were playing almost once a month, and it came where we had like a solid fan base that would come out all the time. But then when you play the Avant-Garde Bar 3 months in a row.
Shout out to Alex at Avant-Garde.
Absolutely. Great venue. We did that to ourselves.
Wait,
right?
I need to make an interjection. Stop putting celery on the nachos, Alex. The celery does not belong in the nachos. Stop it. I love the bar, and I love nachos, and we should be able to come to alignment on this matter.
That's fair. That's
All right.
fair.
One of many of Summer's hot takes.
I have so many opinions.
So anyway, lots of love for the Avant-Garde Bar. I don't want to throw them under the bus at all. But
Never.
We were there.
Except for
we
the
were there a
nacho
lot.
thing.
Right.
And like I said, we did it to ourselves. We're like, yeah, absolutely. You run out of room, and you're like, well, we kind of maxed ourselves out here. And there is something to be said about kind of pacing yourself. But then, you can only pace yourself so much. So yeah, if you want to play as many shows as we want to play, we're definitely gonna have to venture into the world.
Well, there's that the old thing. It's like you exhaust your draw, right? If you play once a month in your home city, it's like they'll come see you the first time. Half of them will come see you the second time, quarter, and they'd be like, "Why do I need to go see them again? They're playing next month," type of deal, right? So, and I think like it's wonderful being in Ottawa because you're so close to Toronto and you're so close to Montreal, bigger cities. But I like the little shows too, where you pick up like a coffee shop gig in fucking Peterborough, right? And it's like there's 25 people there, but it's a cool little quirky little fun show and everybody's into it, right? So
But that's almost what makes Ottawa special, though. Like when I lived in Toronto, you would go to a show and you knew people, but you didn't know like everyone. And there was this crazy thing that happened that like a lot of people had to spend a lot of time indoors, and like so you realize like community is very wholesome and good, and we need community. And so when you go to a show in Ottawa and you know everyone, like it's so lovely.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, I'm like I said, I am pro Ottawa. I'm not saying anything bad about Ottawa. I'm just saying in the big picture of just presenting your performance. That's it. It's like you can play every week. You can play every day in Ottawa if you want.
It's possible, but like you said,
by the end of the week, you're probably just playing for nobody.
Yeah, and you don't want to spread yourself too thin. True. But I do want to say that crazy thing that happened, it made the scene, it bounced back. I mean, I've been going to shows this year and a bunch last year too, and I can say with certainty it's really gotten a lot better than it used to be years before 2020.
Shout out to all the youngsters going to the show, like the 20-year-olds and stuff. I mean, it's so beautiful because like I kind of felt like I grew up playing like what felt like an atrophying metal scene, and like I see all these young folks out, and I mean it makes me so happy.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Ottawa has an amazing music scene. I think they have an amazing base of bands and artists in general. I wish there was more places to play. I really do. Shout out to the places that are there to play. Big shout out to the band or the places that didn't make it through the big P.
I mean, so like let everybody press F in the chat for pressed.
You got it?
Sinkhole.
Oh yeah, Sinkhole.
Capital City Music Hall.
Oh Jesus Christ!
We're digging deep here.
Yeah, that's Live Lounge.
Oh yeah.
You guys remember Live Lounge?
Everybody light a white candle.
Yep.
Barrymore's,
yeah.
Zaphods.
Babylon is now a Dollarama.
Ritual.
You'd play it.
Yeah, Ritual.
You guys remember Molly Maguire's?
I've never been personally.
It's like anyway, it's in the market. That was like
Isn't that like part of the
remember?
Heart and Crown complex?
No. It's some crappy nightclub now, just on George Street, just on the other side of Cumberland. It used to be like a little Irish pub, a standalone Irish pub, and they always had punk shows. I saw Chicks Dig It there.
What?
I saw Forenzo Rom there.
Oh, this guy's got something to say about Chicks Dig It.
See, I'll predate all of you, and I'll throw out the name Spody Odie's, which I don't even know if any of you would remember, but I played there in 1995.
No, Spody Odie's. I remember Lucky Ron's. Well, it's probably 20 years ago. But anyway, he used to have a bar called Lucky Ron's right on Rideau Street. It was a basement club. And then upstairs was a club called Perfect Strangers. You guys remember Zaphods, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you remember Zaphods 2 on Bank Street?
Oh, yeah. I don't remember exactly
when Eugene expanded, and there was a Zaphods 2 for a summer.
That sounds cursed. I would have called it Zaphods 3.
Yeah, right.
Like, just to confuse
Skip
people.
the sequel.
It was wild though. It was an upstairs club. You had to walk upstairs, and it was full of couches and all. It was like veils and shit that were all hanging from the. It was weird. Didn't last very long. It was rad though.
Does anyone remember Cafe Luna? Like in
Yep.
on
Cafe.
Yeah.
was that it? Luneta
Yeah.
Cafe.
Was it on Bronson?
I played some on Bronson
For like
near the drum.
the year of 2013.
Yeah, that was Luneta Cafe.
Right
yeah.
across the street from the McDonald's.
Yeah, and what was once known as the Fun Boy Clubhouse,
Oh
Yes. Oh my God.
which was also a
Well, that
wild
kind of
one.
got
I
like,
saw a show at Luneta, and after the show, my car was dented because somebody threw a jack-o'-lantern at it.
that's how you can tell it was a sick place. Like,
That's where you go to party.
Pumpkins are dense.
and like the Fun Boy.
They're dense. They make dents.
Oh, nice.
Because there's leaky bees.
Oh yeah,
Former
that was
Askapunk.
that
Yeah.
was the best. We played there a bunch.
Yeah, that was
Oh, that was on
Meadowlands.
Meadowlands.
Yeah.
That's what it was,
It's actually a bitch to get to.
Ottawa-
That's a hot take.
Except
right
for
there.
except for the bus did drop you off right there.
Yeah.
The bus that
Don't
was
drink
right
and
at their house.
drive if you're in local music.
Speaking of
Or
Sarah,
anything.
Speaking of Sarah Destruction or Sarah God.
Oh yeah, we tangented hard. Yeah,
Have you guys heard of the Womb?
sure have.
Okay. I just did an acoustic gig there 2 weeks ago.
Was that with Fifth and
Yeah, and what's his name?
Dennis Jagard,
Mhm.
10-foot pole. Is that all right?
Yeah, that was the
Sick.
one.
How'd it go?
It was fun. It was. I don't do a lot of acoustic stuff. Right out of the thing we're not mentioning. I put on a couple acoustic shows at Avant Garde actually with Jesse from the Fly Downs.
Oh,
And-
Jesse
yeah.
Brewer.
Yeah, do you guys know Andy Negative?
Sure do.
Oh, yeah.
Quite well.
I had a birthday bash I think not this past birthday, but the following one. I had me and Andy and Jesse played an acoustic gig at Avant Garde.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was fun. So that was my first, at the Womb. It was good, though, because it's just like this little basement, kind of like a Sneaky D's type of Askapunk thing,
What
right?
Ottawa really needs, right next to the Poor Boy, we need a new like bar/venue that is also a tiki bar. And
Tiki bar theme.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey, wait a
so-
second. What was that bar called underneath Barrymore's? Wasn't that like a tiki bar? Remember it was the Guava Lounge or
What?
something?
yeah, yeah.
Nobody remembers that?
No.
No, I think I actually that does like sound familiar.
You walk into Barrymore's and you go up the stairs into the actual
Do you remember, Gary?
theater, but there was a bar underneath and it had like pineapples hanging from the roof, and it was called like the Guava Land. or
That's
the,
exactly what we need.
the
Bring it back,
pineapple
bring it
the
back.
pineapple soiree or something.
So all of the venture capitalists stop in investing in like Silicon Valley North. It's over. It's fallen off. Start investing in tiki.
Tiki's a way to go.
It's always interesting to see like the I feel like it's ever been since I've been in the scene. There's always a rotating cast. It's such a hard industry to own and operate a brick and mortar establishment at all. Period. One, and then two, one that focuses on entertainment and food. I feel like it's just such a volatile environment. So you're absolutely right. Those places that have been able to one survive as long as they have and are still going are like absolute
Gems.
gems of spaces that we certainly never take for granted.
I think it's like
No,
peak.
no.
It must be like peaks and valleys in any scene, like ebbs and flows. You know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's not so hot. I played my first gig in Ottawa in like '99, and I'd say between like 2004 and 2008 was a massive local push. Like when 88.5 had like the big money shot. Do you remember that?
I do,
thing?
yeah.
It was that contest, and every local band in Ottawa entered it because the prize was like $100,000 in studio
Oh.
time and shit. And speaking of Capitol Music Hall, that's where they would have the finals.
Yep.
They'd have the preliminary rounds at the Live Lounge,
I went to
the
several
bar
of
that
those.
was owned by 88.5, and then they'd have the finals at the Capitol Music Hall, and that was a crazy time
I
in local
loved
music.
Capital City Music Hall. It was so good. I have such warm memories of seeing like
Same here.
actually like a certain size of band that kind of just stopped touring Ottawa. Like I saw Skeleton Witch there in like 2010 or something, and it's like they wouldn't. When would you see that now?
I'll hand it to it was New Cap, I think, right? New Cap out of Toronto, who owned 88.5.
That sounds right.
And they really, really tried to do big things with the Ottawa music scene back then, and I'm sure they still are, but not like it was. And through the 10. Sorry, Gary, go ahead. I'm rambling.
Oh no, it's fine. I was just going to add to Summer's point there that once Capitol Music Hall closed, Ottawa's really been lacking that size of venue.
Like a Barry
ever since.
Capital. Oh, Bronson Center. I guess.
Like you've got the Bronson Center, but it's an aging venue and it's not maybe the most comfortable. Sound might not be the greatest.
I've had some good shows.
Have you?
Yeah.
But it's the only place. It's
Yeah.
the only place.
Yeah.
And the people that are invested in the Bronson Center now have done what I would consider a phenomenal job keeping that place alive. One, like a standing building at all,
True.
and bringing in the bands that can fill in that venue has been a challenge in this town. And so to say like we need a space, this is the most viable option. Let's do what we can to make it work. They're doing the best they can, and like hats off to that crew, because I have also seen some really good shows there recently, and I've heard of some bands that are rolling through. But yeah, it's interesting how the scene is really like, we're living in a digital environment now. There's so much of it that's like an online thing that, like, you know, I'm only in my early 30s, but for me, it still seems like this like other foreign world. Like I grew up like as a teenager going to Capitol Music Hall when I was 13 years old to go see like the Ska's Dead tour, go see Alexis on Fire when I'm 13, 14, 15 years old. Ottawa at that time period that you described, like the early 2000s into the late 2000s, like early to mid 2000s, that to me like formed kind of like a musical identity for me in a way, because I was able to just like, let's go downtown and see what all ages shows are available to us at the time, which is also something that I'd like to see more of and that I'd like us to kind of invest more in.
But this
the
is
all
like
ages show,
this
'cause-
is really what Ottawa needs. Like we need the oil princes who are listening to this to invest. We need, you know, or conquer.
Investor Conquer.
I'm just saying, like, you know, invest. Like, just check out my Instagram, get my business email, and we'll go from there. Just give me a bunch of money, and I'll turn it into good for the scene. Just trust me. We'll do it.
And until Summer gets that email in the inbox, like Ottawa has always been a scene that needs to support ourselves, really, right? And we're just gonna have to keep doing that.
Well said. Okay, so let's wrap this up. Anyway, what do you guys got coming up? What is the future hold for Positive Charge?
Future holds for Positive Charge. We will be finally releasing our second album, which is the 9-song one Jordan mentioned earlier, which is called How to Fit In and Why It Matters.
That's right. That's going to be coming out in early 2024. We are coordinating a release show for that, and kind of going through the end of phase production into the post-production of that cycle. We have a show coming up September 13th. It's a Wednesday. It's at the Dom. We'll be opening for touring bands The Penske File and Make War.
They're dope.
Which is a classic move for us. Big shout out to Spectrasonic and Sean Scallon. He's always been a huge support for us and has been finding us wicked bands that have been rolling through town for us to play with and support for a long time.
Hell
So
yeah.
we're happy to continue that trend, and we're so stoked to be playing with Gary and Summer. We've got the past will finally be the past and not the present, and the future is coming. So we're excited to finally do it.
We're going to get some of Jordan's new songs into the rotation, and then once we got the whole repertoire up and going, we'll start working on new stuff and see where the ship goes. We'll be finally out of open waters, and the horizon will be ours. We can decide where we want to go.
That's awesome. With the when I post the podcast, I'll put up all your links and where we can find you guys.
Yeah.
And so the good listener can enjoy it. Anybody have any final shout outs or anything before we sign off?
Shout out to you, buddy.
Shout out to the Ego and Vice podcast.
Ah, thanks. I appreciate
Putting
that.
the ego and the ego and vice. There you go.
The interior design of the studio is fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah, I can
And
see
I'd like to shout out anyone who has a speaker where my voice is actively hitting your brain. Thank you for listening, because, you know, this is a local community podcast talking about local community music. And we want to thank everyone who's local and in the community for we wouldn't be able to do it without you.
Again, second time on the podcast. Well said, sir.
Oh, yeah, that's the king
yeah.
of well saying things.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming out. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing what comes around the corner for you guys.
Hell yeah.
All right, cheers.
Woo.
She spent hours, she spent days in the lab, decades and cans of grain. Discouraged, disbelieved, and discredited all along the way. She's a powerhouse of science, a heroine fighting in the dark. 30 years of collaboration and discovery. Her name omitted. Secret letters from him confirm her words. A secret name lies under his heavy conscience and his Nobel Prize. A Nobel mistaken disguise. A diamond ring makes no promises. When Nazis made her flee in 1938, she left everything behind. Barely escaping the German border with a ring and 10 bucks in her pocket. Using her work and equipment in her absence, he made a discovery of nuclear fission by splitting uranium. But Liza Miner knew it first. Before him, secret letters from him confirm her work works. A secret name lies under his heavy conscience and his Nobel Prize. My Nobel mistaken disguise. A diamond ring means no promises. Saw for herself before accepting authority. She's a powerhouse of science, the force of feminism. After decades of working against the grain, she was subject to misogyny and she kept the moral head. Declared the Manhattan Project, screaming, "I will have nothing to do with the bomb. I will have nothing to do with the
Hey, yeah, so that's it. That's Ego and Vice episode 109. I'd really like to thank Rich, Jordan, Gary, and Summer for coming into the South Hood studio to grace me with their presence and having such a great conversation. It was very, very cool. If you want to get a hold of me, you can always reach me at egoandvice@gmail.com. If you want to listen to the podcast, hey, guess what? Just Google it. Google Ego and Vice, and it's all over the place. It's pretty exciting. I was actually voted one of the favorite podcasts in Ottawa for 2023, which is pretty exciting. But you know what I mean. I keep Ego and Vice nice and low key, so I don't have to worry about that kind of shit because it's all about you in the end. So yeah, Spotify, iTunes, Google, Deezer, iHeartRadio, YouTube. Just look it up. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Take care.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Wanna